Welcome, everybody. We are thrilled beyond belief that you are here. Thank you. It is so good to be able to actually see people in 3 dimensions. It's actually wonderful to see people breathing and blinking and shaking hands. Thank you for being here tonight. Tonight, the purpose for tonight, this is our grand reopening in what, until they decide to kick us out in our new forever home. This is the first in-person event we've held since February of 2020. And tonight, it's about relaxing. It's about taking a load off. It's about coming together as a community, reconnecting, establishing new relationships, getting to know one another again. And the format is that we have a showcase. We've invited 12 young companies here. They have, in one way or the other, been somewhat part of the Startup Grind organization, some more than others, but they went through an application process. Tonight, you're not going to hear formal pitches, okay? This is not an event where they're going to be up here sweating bullets, scared to death, trying to win a prize that probably is not going to mean a whole heck of a lot, okay? Tonight, they're here to be able to demonstrate, to get exposure, to get known to the outside world. Because these are the people that have been working behind the scenes, trying to build companies without that exposure, without all those connections. And so this is, I would like to think this is our way of doing our small part to begin to bring the Maryland entrepreneurship ecosystem together and begin to reconnect us. That being said, I would now like to make a nice announcement and then invite them up, and that is that over the last several months, we have formed a, I'm going to call it a partnership/sponsorship with the state's premier organization focused on helping entrepreneurs, and that is Tedco. We're honored that they thought enough of us to become our signature sponsor, and for that, I thank you and Tedco. And I would like to introduce and invite up the 2 representatives from here, Hal and Tim with Tedco. Please come up. I've asked them to give a somewhat brief kind of synopsis and overview of Tedco for those of you who don't know them, and hear from both of them so that you get a better idea of what they have to offer. Okay? So, that being said.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I want you in the video.
Got it. Great.
By the way, this is Tim Wilson.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Tim Wilson. I am the manager of the seed funds at Tedco. And real quick before I go, we've got some more Tedco folks.
I'm sorry.
Give a little shout out, Jack and Lisa. You want to raise your hand? There you go. Griffin. Oh, and Griffin. There you go. Got it. So I will just quick high level overview. Tedco is the premier, as Chris put it, economic development arm of the state of Maryland. So our job and goal is to grow technology and technology companies in the state. So we work with companies almost literally from idea stage all the way through, Series A and beyond. So that comes in many different forms. In fact, we've got team members from each of these different groups here tonight. But that can be working on pitch stuff early on and doing some networking and doing some roundtables and educational stuff, all the way through where my team operates, which is more the investment side, which can be pre-seed, seed, and all the way up to Series A. And I think that's pretty much the high-level version of it. So it's good to be here. We're proud to be partnering with Startup Grind.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Tim.
Hey guys, my name's Hal. I'm the digital marketing coordinator for Tedco. And so thanks, Tim. And if you want to find out more about what TECO is, more about what we talked about today, you can visit our site at techomd.com. There you can find other resources as well, like our market search services, our network advisors, our Prelude Pitch program, where you can pitch and get critique and feedback on your pitches. So all those programs. When you're there, please consider signing up for our newsletter to find out anything that's happening in the innovation ecosystem of Maryland. And keep in touch with us. We're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Just look our name, TECO, and you'll find us. Thanks.
Now, last but not least, I want to bring up an incredible friend from almost day one. When I started the chapter, when I was notified that I was awarded the chapter at 11:59 on a Tuesday night in January of 2017, the first two people that I called, Larry Tweel of the Howard County Economic Development Authority, and Chuck's predecessor, Tracy Turner, and from moment one, they signed on as being one of our founding partners. And the relationship has grown and evolved over the last 5 years. And I am thrilled to be able to sit here today and say, this is a day that we've been waiting for 2 years. Everything about this facility is literally brand new. And I'm going to let Chuck tell a little bit more about that. And I'm praying that this is Startup Grind's forever home. At least it's going to be until they get so upset at me that they fire me. So that being said, Chuck, please come up. I'd like to introduce Mr. Chuck Buback. Chuck is the Executive Director of the Maryland Innovation Center and our premier partner.
Thanks. I'll make it very, very brief because I do get to other stuff. The building you're in right now really is the culmination of about 21 years that the county's invested in the incubation community. We actually go back to Neo Incubator over on Bendix Road back in 1999. So the center we're in really is an investment by the county in belief in the community that Chris just talked about. And it's funny, when you were describing your mission, that's sort of what we built the foundation for the MIC on, is a place that can be a tent that can house great ideas and cultivate innovation. So we are a fan of breaking down silos, not having everybody fighting each other over space. We're in I think the greatest time right now for entrepreneurs, and we are in the greatest location if you look at where we're at right now. Look at Howard County, look at this area. It's just the perfect timing of everything, even though we're coming out of a horrible period. So we're excited about it. Startup Grind, we just match together on a lot of the way you talk about how to work the entrepreneurial community. So feel free to ever get involved with us here. We've got about 50 companies housed here. We work with startups that are literally, I had a conversation with Todd about some of the companies literally that we work with, which sometimes takes the form of two guys showing up on the third floor saying, hey, we got an idea. And we sit down with them, and we've turned some of those into companies. So we do take very early startup stage companies, and we're in the middle of doing a lot of training right now, because what we're finding is the entrepreneurial community is growing rapidly. We've got 2 floors up right now, 15 people in a room for a startup one that are fresh startup companies that want to learn what to do. So this is a great time for everybody, and we're happy to be a partner with Startup. And as Chris said, this is his home, and it certainly is. And we say that to anybody in the innovation community. So,
But I would like to invite up the first gentleman, Mr. Hector Ocasio of Pet Connect Business. And what I am asking each of them to do is to give us no more than 5 minutes, okay? Where did the idea come from? What's the problem that's being solved? How big the problem is, and talk about the journey that they've been on to get to this point. Then the last two things I'm asking them to do is to say, okay, where you are right now, what do you need? And the last thing I want you to address is how can we help? Okay?
Anybody take
Hector?
notes? So I'll just start off with my beginning of my journey. And actually, first of all, Pet Connect Business is a digital management system for pet service providers. We make it easy for groomers, boarders, trainers, veterinarians to implement and manage branded websites and branded mobile apps. And the secret sauce is they could do it all without any coding, no developer involvement, no technical experience required. Our goal as a company is any fundamental change to their applications can be accomplished in 60 seconds. And so we've been able to maintain that throughout our product history. The journey actually began several years ago. I was traveling with my wife Sinead and our dog Mason. We were right outside of rural Ohio. It was late at night, super cold, and Mason essentially just started getting violently ill in the back seat. We pulled over to the side of the road. He collapsed, so we knew something was really wrong. So we tried to find an emergency pet hospital, and that local hospital in that area didn't have any online presence. And so we thought he was going to die right there on the side of the road. So through the help of a friend, I, in panic mode, called up a friend, and he helped guide us to a hospital that saved Mason's life. But it was that experience that really opened up my eyes about how important service providers are in our pets' lives, and how critical it is for them to have an online presence. And so I set out to solve that problem. And the journey has been long and hard, challenging, with many obstacles. As a matter of fact, I would even say we weren't on the right path at first. We started it off as a marketplace solution. So we built out a pet-friendly marketplace that had over 100,000 pet-friendly resources in it, and made that accessible to the pet parent community at no cost. And the vision was to sell enhanced business listings within that marketplace that had additional functionality added to it. Pet parents loved it. We got download after download right out of the gate, but the business community was sort of standing off, that they wanted to immediately jump on board. And when we went back into the market and just started talking to them, we figured out that it was because of sort of like that open table problem, right? Where they were afraid that if they brought their customers into the application, they would leave them for somebody else. So we sort of had a business offering that sort of was eating itself up at the same time. But we knew we had solved some problems because some of the customers were coming back to us and saying, we love the functionality, we just want it for ourselves. And so that's where the vision of Pet Connect Business came from, is that we would take the original idea, take the functionality, but now white label it for each individual service provider. And so we did a lot more research and found out there was a market there. Less than 50% of pet service providers today actually have a basic website, and less than 1% of the market has a mobile app. So opportunity was there. So the journey first took us to a group called SeatSpot, which is a non-dilutive accelerator program out of Washington, D.C. It really opened up our eyes to whether or not this was a viable idea, and we were able to establish right away that we were onto something. We got some help with data analysis, we got some help with market research, and we ended up getting connected with an advisor by the name of John Cantor, one of the most wonderful human beings I've ever met in my life. He, CFO background, helped us understand how to put a SaaS business model together, sales strategy, understood how to sort of break down our numbers and what was our margins and things that honestly I wasn't even thinking about. And that was 2 years ago, and the man's still helping me today. Just helped me with an investor call last week. So that was number one. Second was Startup Grind. Believe it or not, Startup Grind was the very first pitch that we ever delivered. It was the first time that we actually went and actually practiced an actual investor pitch. Chris was there. He actually witnessed it firsthand. We were outside somewhere in this area, out there trying to pitch an app on a TV screen. But I will give Chris a lot of credit. Chris has stayed connected with us through the years, and he has really been fundamental about helping us understand, for all of you entrepreneurs in the room, there's a really big difference between a solution pitch and a story, and a true story to your pitch. And Chris is just phenomenal with helping you shape a story. Chris will tell you that he looks at everything through a lens that your typical investor is going to look through, and he gives you the honest feedback on that nope, don't get it, didn't understand it, that's not important, right? And so it's that kind of critical feedback that's important for your growth, especially when you're going into front of the investor community. So thank you on that. And last but not least, and certainly not least, is Pet Connect Business wouldn't be here today without the support of Tetco. Plain and simple, we are alive, we're here today because Tetco supported us. Seriously, they not only gave us money to help us reach our core milestones, but they also injected advisors to help us reach those milestones. So these are people who actually rolled up their sleeves and did the work with me. It was like having co-founders in my company to really help me drive key milestones. One of them is here today, Jeff Friedman. Couldn't have gotten here without you, man. And another one who's not here today is Donna Belinky. They really helped me shape my brand messaging, client acquisition strategies, sort of our story to the market. And it really helped us not only kind of shape and reach our milestones, but it also helped us keep within structure. Like, this is who we are and this is what we need to focus on. We are also able to be connected to a group called Think out of Baltimore. There's a gentleman there by the name of Jeff Musgrove and also in the second gentleman, Joe Poling. They really helped us sort of bring some legitimacy on the enterprise level, and even got us into a meeting with a 150 unit service provider. So I'm going to be pitching to a 150 unit customer opportunity because of those guys. So that is priceless. And last but not least, I know we've already given a round of applause, but Tim has been an advocate for us since day one. Tim is a straight shooter, which is my kind of people. He tells you when you're doing something wrong, he tells you when you're doing something right, and when you're doing something right, not only does he tell you it's right, but then he looks for ways to nurture and foster that so that you can keep that momentum going. Plain and simple, all you entrepreneurs out there, you can't do it by yourself. You have got to be willing to look into programs and to find advisors who can help you along your journey, because if you don't, you're going to have a whole lot of nothing, right? And so you have to be willing to accept that you don't know everything and that your opinion is irrelevant, right? Let the market tell you what to do with it. And it's the advisors that really have helped us overcome a lot of those hurdles. And today I went from, having my dog sick in a car to now pitching to 150 unit, veterinary practices and so on because, of the advisor community that helped me along that journey. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you inviting us here tonight as well.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Liz Claiborne, and I'm the CEO and founder of Bleed Freeze. Bleed Freeze is bringing a novel nosebleed device to market that's going to be simple and effective nosebleed rescue. 60% of people have a nosebleed in their lifetime, and as an ER doc, I was shocked when I was in training and learned how many people would show up to the ER for a problem that I thought was pretty simple. I didn't understand why they couldn't just hold pressure on their nose and why they would want to come see me and spend 4 hours in the waiting room to do something that I thought they could do at home. But I soon discovered that it's actually hard to treat nosebleeds. They're super common in kids ages 2 to 10 and older adults 60 to 80 who are often on blood thinners. And those are the people who are least likely to be able to hold constant, uninterrupted pressure on their nose like you're supposed to for 10 to 20 minutes. We would do things like tape together tongue depressors or send someone out to hold pressure, things that were really time consuming and not that effective, and I thought there had to be a better solution. So I came up with Bleed Freeze. It provides constant, uninterrupted, hands-free pressure to the nose and pre-medicated sponges that go in the nose that can deliver any kind of medication. Our patent covers any medicine, but right now we focus on oxymetazoline or Afrin, an over-the-counter vasoconstrictor that can be used at home. So right now where we are with the product is I've developed the MVP and we're going to be piloting it in an urgent care and ER setting and then launching the device in 2022. it's unmedicated but can have medicine added off-label. We'll then be focused on getting FDA approval for a pre-medicated device so that this can become the Band-Aid of nosebleeds. You can find that this would be useful not just to me as a doctor in an urgent care setting, an ER setting, pediatric clinic, but also for school nurses, sports trainers, or nursing homes, in addition to the everyday mom and dad that might have a kid with a nosebleed, or a common American with allergies or other issues where they get nosebleed frequently. Our goal ultimately is to target those 1 in 3 households that have common recurrent nosebleeds and be stocked in your medicine cabinet like a Band-Aid. So that's why Bleed Freeze is the Band-Aid of nosebleeds. We're currently looking for any funding support, connections, or anyone who wants to join our journey to making this a household name for nosebleed rescue. So if you have a nosebleed, first what you would want to do is bend forward, clear your nose of any clots, and then you simply put the medicated sponges in your nose, and you pinch the device together, and it holds constant, uninterrupted pressure. It's firm. It doesn't allow you to have your nose pass any air, but it's comfortable so that you can have it in place for 10 to 20 minutes. It's actually COVID friendly in the sense that you can have a mask over it while you're waiting. And then when you're done, you simply release the clip and remove, check for bleeding, and it can be reinserted 2 to 3 times if you're still having bleeding, but it's just intended for one-time use. Simple, easy, and convenient.
Get ready. Well, hello everyone, my name is Otha Smith and I'm the CEO and founder of Tetrogram. Tetrogram is a mobile app that we designed specifically for cannabis and CBD consumers that gives them the ability to not only keep track of the products they purchase, but also the cannabinoids and terpenes associated with that product, because that's the true underlying value of how cannabis can address certain medical conditions. We also give users the ability to keep track of where they made that purchase, and then more importantly, how they consume that product, and then they can associate that particular product with a medical condition, and so they can rate how effective or non-effective that product is. Because in the industry today, there's so many products to choose from, it makes it very intimidating for even the most seasoned cannabis consumer or someone that's new to the industry to understand the impact of the products they purchase. And given that cannabis is federally illegal, there's very little guidance for a doctor, let alone a consumer, to actually draw conclusions or gather information on how effective a particular product may be. And so again, with cannabis affecting everyone differently, it's very important that you document your usage. And so that's what we provide to consumers today. And Tetrogram is HIPAA compliant as well. So me being a patient, I take privacy extremely serious, as well as my 2 business partners. And so with the data that we collect from consumers anonymously, that data really helps drive the industry forward in understanding both the positive and negative effects of cannabis, and really helps enlighten the industry about the total efficacy of cannabis and how it can be used. I want to thank you for your time today, and please download the Tetrogram app from tetrogramapp.com. Thank you.
Okay, so this is Shan. So I'm one of the founder of Omni Sensing. This is my partner, Dr. Ju. And so we were using some kind of optical engines that we co-developed with the other companies, and we trying to apply the technology into a wider market. So our first product actually is the we built a modular photonic particle detection system for the national labs. Okay, that's the product we kind of build now and are selling to the customers. But mostly we want to build a technology from this smaller optical sensing engines and apply to a wider market. So mostly we're looking at like biosensing and medical and wellness devices. We can measuring doing the remote, the vital signs monitoring, or we can do like ecology and hearing mechanics and the measurement, right? And of course, it's the same technology we can apply to like home security, surveillance, and build a remote, the audio sensors. And then we can do some, others like handheld device for the vibration testing. So anyway, so we are focusing next, I think, is using this technology to apply to the vital signs monitoring, and we can measure the like heartbeat, breathing rate at a very far distance, like meters or even tens meters, right? Later on, right? And this technology probably can be applied to the hospitals and for special patient treatment or monitoring. Our company is it's not a really young company, but really my partner and I start to heavily invest our time on this company. It's probably like 2 years so far. Okay. Thank you.
Okay? I think his story is incredibly compelling, and if you could give him your attention for about 5 minutes, I would appreciate it.
5 minutes. Thank
Okay?
you, Chris. First of all, I want to say shout out to Chris and his team, Tedco. We're familiar with Tedco. Recently, they helped us to get some funding and get in the ecosystem of Maryland. Also, I want to introduce my sidekick, Jorge Fajardo, and you know his story and my story and why we started Sidekick. And so, Sidekick is a digital platform for food and beverage businesses. It digitalizes the whole workflow. It's a collaborative platform as well, where you can engage with recipe development, menu development. You also have production, communication, and training all in one system. So basically, it allows your business to be paperless. And it really is, in our industry these days, with COVID, the challenges with labor, you have to have your whole team to contribute a little bit more. And so, you know, the story, how did this all come to, I guess, to this stage is some years ago, being a chef, the average lifespan for a chef is 57 years old. And it kind of hit me because the notion of, I asked a lot of my colleagues, have you ever been to a retirement party for a chef? And everyone's kind of laughed, but it's kind of sad because the reality is, I've never been to a retirement party for a chef. All the chefs I worked for got out of the business because of health issues, the pain points. And so this is my passion. I have so much passion to go fix this problem because I went to culinary school to, you know, use my craft, to engage with the community, and it was just driving me into a graveyard. And so I kind of said back to Jorge, we went to a baseball game, and I said, I turned down the job in San Francisco at this Bohemian Club. I love San Francisco, I used to live there. And I just said, there's got to be a better way. I feel like I'm just going to go and work myself into, you know, early retirement, unfortunately, too early. And so I said, there's got to be a better way. And so we went out, got this tested, validated the idea, and you know, we really have started this about 3 years ago.
So my name is John Matthews. I'm the CEO and founder of Prothemos Technology, and I'm the creator of the Barrage. What's the Barrage? The Barrage is our full effects simulator for video games. With the Barrage, we actually help the user to enhance their gaming experience. This is taking VR to the next level. So how do we do it? The Barrage actually simulates impact. So our impact belt, which you see right here, which wraps around the waist, is embedded with motors that allow the users to feel almost 360 degrees what their character feels in a gaming simulation. So if I'm hit on the right, I feel it on the right. If I hit in the front, I feel it in the front. But we don't stop there. We also simulate temperatures, right? So if my character's dropped in a volcano, I get to feel the heat of the volcano. Or if I'm dropped in the Arctic, I feel the chill of the Arctic. This has never been done in such a compact way before. But we don't stop there, right? We also simulate aroma. So if I'm playing Call of Duty and I'm rummaging through the forest, I can smell the smell of pine. If I'm in that volcano that I talked about earlier, I can actually smell, the burning coal, right? This is gaming to the next level. Our LEDs actually mimic the ambient lighting on the screen. So again, if I'm in that volcano, I can light the whole room up red. If I'm in the Arctic, I can light the whole room up blue. right? Of course, you got to turn the lights out. But again, it's our VR compatible, compact, impact, and weather effects simulator, and so much more. So that's the Barrage.
My name is Marcel Kamenstein. I am the director and founder of Media Lab Group. And what Media Lab Group does is we are a focused marketing and branding company, and we focus on really today's needs, which are influencer marketing. Some of the biggest challenges today with influencer marketing is the ability to figure out who is a real influencer and who is just smoke and mirrors. And especially as you start to work with larger influencers for brands need to figure out, well, who do they work with and who is behind each influencer? Who is that community? So what we do is we focus on strategically working with brands and agencies to make sure that they know who is the community behind those brands. So when a brand needs to connect directly with their target market, we help them to do that. And we help them to figure out and navigate that field, which can be very complicated. So come visit us, medialab.marketing, and my name is Marcel Kamenstein.
Hi, I'm Sue Carr. I'm president and founder of Cartek LLC. We're a medical device company that I founded to solve a complicated problem of filtering ampule-based medication. I first noticed this problem while I was attending pharmacy school a long time ago, working at a local hospital, and the problem still exists. So I'm here today to make a solution, to find a solution, and I did find a solution. We call it FROG, filter removal of glass. Instead of this complicated problem of switching needles and needle stick injuries and wasted preparation time, I came up with an all-inclusive, all-in-one package, filter and needle combined. Therefore, it takes half the time and there's no needle stick injuries. Simply break the ampule, insert the filter your medication, remove the outer filter, and inject. It's been a really long journey, and it started a long time ago with my incubators, accelerators, I-Corps, and it takes a village. And I'm really grateful to be here today, and I'm grateful for all the people that have helped me along the way and that are supporting me. We're now talking 10 months into FDA preparations. We anticipate submission early 2022. We're going to be conducting human factor studies in the next couple of months. We've raised quite a bit of money, and we're talking to what I call the BNCs, the big needle companies, with a letter of intent, and we have projections. And so this time next year, we will be on the market selling, and I'm really excited about that. Thank you very much.
So I'm John from JMX3D. Essentially, we are a rapid prototyping and design startup. We work with other young startups, and essentially our core business is we take people from an idea, a concept, to a realized prototype. So people that have an idea for a product, but maybe they don't have an engineering background, or they don't know how to do the prototyping themselves, they can come to us. We can make them designs that are suitable for mass manufacturing. We can do that prototyping process with them, test it out, make sure it functions, and get them to a prototype stage that works and demonstrates their idea that they can show to potential customers, they can show to investors, and start getting some of that funding to move to the next stage and, move to mass manufacturing and really make this into a real product. So we take them from just a concept in their head or on a napkin into a realized prototype that they know works and that they're ready to go all in on.
Chris, thank you so much for letting me come here and showcase and talk to you guys. Total Care. We are a telehealth platform. We are more than just a video platform. We allow you to connect to your own healthcare providers and continue the relationship you have in office visit extended virtually. It is more than a video platform because it allows you to add your family members on the call. It allows the doctors and healthcare providers to be able to look at your entire visit history and do care coordination where they can coordinate all the other doctors you've been to and be able to coordinate and make sure that your medication interactions are not affecting you and stuff. But it also, patients with chronic diseases,
you can, for the first time, enter all your vitals on a single platform and be able to show your healthcare providers a graphical view of their vitals. That is so important because providers have never looked at a graphical view of your blood pressure, blood sugar or anything. This is first time they can look at it. Now they can have targeted conversations with you as to what happened 3 days ago. I saw your blood sugar was up by 10 points. We have been on a long journey. I started ideation around 2012, 13. What I saw, my other company is we are a allied healthcare provider by providing medical equipment supplies, and I saw a lot of non-compliance with chronic diseases and trouble access to healthcare for people even in the urban areas, but this is so exacerbated in rural areas and others. My own grandfather was a chronic disease patient, and he was non-compliant, did not took his blood pressure. Don't raise your hands. How many people think that if you don't have a headache, your blood pressure is okay? Don't raise your hands. How many people think that as long as you're feeling healthy and all that stuff and you're not feeling dizzy, your blood sugar is okay? Don't raise your hands. So all those anecdotal stuff that is out there, it's wrong. You need to be able to have empirical data to figure out what's going on. We have made, Chris asked me to talk about the pivots and the challenges we had along the way. Since we are a healthcare platform, we have two masters. We are marketing to healthcare providers because doctors need to be on the platform so you can see your own doctors. And then the second master is patients. How do you market it to totally separate populations on a single product, right? Different marketing, different messaging, so I had to figure out who my real customer was, which is healthcare providers. That took some time, and then had to redo the marketing pitch. And still, when I go and talk to people, when I do pitches, I have to kind of pivot a little bit towards the patient sides, because if I'm talking about the pain points of a healthcare provider, you in the room who are not healthcare providers don't get it. Second challenge was we pivoted because initially I wanted to be the platform, total care, a platform to manage your entire health and wellness. And how do you sell that to somebody? So we had to narrow it down, and we developed a telemedicine platform, a scheduled virtual visit platform so you can schedule visits between patients and providers. Started with a prototype, did that, developed it, took it to market, and then after that, we added more features, and now we are more than that, we are a telehealth. Now we have chronic disease management features on it, we have adding family members, we have a lot of other stuff, and we are growing. That's another challenge, is how do you stay out of the competition? So you need to constantly innovate and figure out how you can stay ahead of the competition so you don't fall behind. So not only do you need to raise market share, you need to keep on innovating daily, so this way, because if you stay stagnant, you're dead. Thank you.
Sure. So you're right now, what are your biggest struggles and challenges? A. 2, what help do you need? And 3, how can we help?
Biggest challenge is change in behavior. How do you change the mind of talk to a healthcare provider and tell them what you have is actually going to help them give schedule flexibility? Doctors, healthcare providers are already so overwhelmed with the regulations, with everything they have to do, they don't want to take another platform. So they have to learn a new platform and do that, and they have to see the vision that yes, using total care will actually give them freedom. As the chef was talking about family time, healthcare providers also don't have much family time. So if this, I can show them how you can get better family time with this, that's better. So that's one of the struggles we have, and that's going to be ongoing until COVID is a bad thing. But because of COVID, everybody knows telehealth platform and the benefits of telehealth. So that's really helped us that way. How can we help? How can these groups help? We are looking for strategic partners. Partners who are already in the healthcare realm that can help us add on this platform to your current tool set and say, healthcare providers, you already use my XYZ platform, let's give you another telehealth platform. another platform so you can have a telehealth also. That's what we're looking for. We are actually signing up 3 strategic partnerships already, looking for more. Thank you, Chris.